So, if you've ever gotten frustrated trying to get those clean, professional looking textures on your clay, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down 35 years of hard won wisdom from Master Potter Ed Shears. This is your 5-minute guide to the tools and techniques that will actually give you studio worthy results. Let's dive in. And Ed kicks us off with a truth bomb that, let's be honest, every potter knows deep down. You've seen those cheap toolkits online. Maybe you even bought one. This one sentence just cuts right through all the noise and gets to the heart of what really works versus what just doesn't. Right. This is the big question, isn't it? If most of the tools you can buy are basically junk, what's the alternative? We're about to peek inside a pro's toolkit, and maybe more importantly, inside their mindset to see how they get those incredible textures. Okay, first things first, we've got to get the philosophy right. See, according to Ed, amazing texture isn't just about making cool patterns. It's about really understanding the soul of the piece you're trying to create. Think about it this way. Texture adds feeling, it adds depth, it adds contrast. It's how someone connects with your work, not just with their eyes, but with their hands. It's not some afterthought you just slap on at the end. It's the unique fingerprint of your voice as an artist, telling a story without saying a single word. And this leads us to a really crucial concept, negative space. Most of us are so focused on the pattern we're adding that we totally forget about the blank space we're leaving behind. But that empty area isn't empty at all. It's a choice. It's a part of the design that lets your texture pop. It's like the silence between the notes that makes the music work. And wow, this just shows you the impact of that idea. Here's a pottery teacher, someone who does this for a living, having this huge aha moment. This proves it's not some abstract artsy theory. It's a super practical tip that can totally change your work for the better, like overnight. So now that we've got the philosophy down, let's talk about what not to do. Every single potter has felt that sting when a piece just doesn't turn out right. This section is all about dodging those common frustrations before they even happen. So it really boils down to 3 things: timing, tools, and flow. Trying to texture clay when it's still sticky, you're just going to make a mess. Using those flimsy tools we talked about, hello, frustration, and making a gorgeous pattern but with a big ugly seam running through it, well, that just ruins the whole effect. These are the big 3 to avoid. The sweet spot is always that perfect leather hard stage. If it's too wet, it's sticky, your lines get all muddy. But if it's too dry, like bone dry, the clay just flakes off and fights you every step of the way. It sounds simple, but this tip will save you so much heartache. Okay, we know what to avoid, so let's get to the good stuff. This is the list. These are the tools that have survived the ultimate test. Years and years of use in a real working pottery studio. So on the left, you see the problem. That flimsy wire, weak handles, tools that bend and make these muddy cuts. But on the right, you've got the solution. A pro-grade tool like this Kemper and Caustic Loop tool. Yeah, it might cost a few extra bucks, but you get clean cuts, and like Ed says, it'll last you for years, not just a couple of weeks. All right, let's talk about rollers for a second. Most of the ones you buy in a store have these 3 fatal flaws. They're usually way too short for bigger pieces, they leave that really obvious seam where the pattern repeats, and they're just crammed with texture, completely ignoring that super important rule about negative space. So what's the fix? Make your own. I love this. It's so empowering. In just 4 simple steps, you can create a totally custom roller that's the perfect length, has a seamless pattern, and has all the breathing room you want. This is how you really take control of your designs. Look, having the right tools is half the battle, for sure, but the other half is all about technique. So now we're going to shift focus to the prep work you have to do to get those crisp, professional results every single time. And this, right here, is the absolute non-negotiable foundation. If your slab is wavy, with high spots and low spots, your texture is going to be uneven. The pattern will look deep in one spot and be completely missing in another. A perfectly flat, uniform slab, that's the canvas you need for a masterpiece. So, how do you get that perfect slab? Well, here are your options. A rolling pin is cheap, and everyone has one, but man, getting consistent results takes a ton of skill and effort. A slab roller, on the other hand, is a bigger investment up front, but it gives you speed, precision, and perfect consistency every single time. And here's Ed's personal take on it. For him, the choice is crystal clear. If you're serious about your work, if you want consistent, repeatable, studio-quality results, a slab roller isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And here's some real-world proof that this advice works. This person directly connected the technique, using a slab roller to get even slabs, to solving a really common, frustrating problem: warped tiles. So it's not just about how it looks, it's about the structural integrity of your piece. All right, we've covered the philosophy, the tools, and the technique. So for this last section, let's bring it all back to you, the artist. Let's figure out how this all connects to your personal creative style. So just take a second to think about it. Are you the kind of person who loves precise, clean, repeatable geometric patterns? Or do you just thrive on creating wild, spontaneous, organic textures where no two pieces are ever the same? There's no right answer, of course, but knowing which way you lean is key. Let's try another one. When you finish a piece, are you the methodical type who measures everything, cleans up, and logs your process? Or are you the clay rebel who gives your creation a name like Waffle Lightning and then just moves on to the next crazy idea? It's all about process versus pure inspiration. And this just shows you why figuring that out matters. Jessie realized she was a clay rebel, and that little insight led her to a tool she didn't even know she needed: a journal to help her keep track of all her creative chaos. Understanding your style helps you build a workflow that actually supports you. I just love this quote from Ed. It perfectly sums up everything we've talked about. Texture isn't the whole meal, right? It's the seasoning that brings the whole dish to life. Too much is overwhelming, too little is bland. But when you get it just right, your work just sings. And that's where we're gonna leave it. Every tool you pick up, every single mark you make, it all becomes part of your unique story as an artist. So after seeing what goes into a pro's toolkit and their mindset, the real question is, what story are your tools and textures gonna tell?